Hi, and thank you for watching the TargetedWest.com video conference and conference call on freeconferencecall.com, ID TargetedWest. This is our 18th show. My name is DJ Chris, and I'll be your moderator and host tonight. If you're watching me on YouTube, BitChute, or Archive, I appreciate you taking your time out. I am the guy in the middle. I'm not apolitical. I'm not spouting out anything violent. I am a patriotic American, but I'm not a patriot, okay? And so the call tonight is about various topics. I do light research. Here's my business card. That matches up with the logo on the site. And today's the 31st of July. Tomorrow's August 1st. And it's 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to go on with the show. The first item is predictive programming. And you've seen that in TV shows and movies and such, even in print. Video games. You know, what they try to do, the governments of the world try to get you to get used to a certain subject matter, so that when they roll it out, you'll say, oh, it looks familiar to me. I've seen that before. But in fact, you know, it's predictive programming. And from what I've learned, the CIA alone and the military have thousands of shows and movies that they consult on and actually give the writers actual direct information to make the shows more realistic. The military does it, of course, so they can gain new recruits. Militaries in all the sports shows and sports events too, but the predictive programming is exactly what it is. They're making you see the future now so that when it happens, you'll be numb to it. Okay? And since it's a light research, I have put an article about it on my Twitter page. That's TI Club 3. Twitter TI Club 3 is where I put all the show notes or the show videos or websites that I've posted. So you go there for that one. Next subject matter is Joshua Schulte convicted of spilling information to WikiLeaks about Vault 7. And of course, I delved deep into that and went back to Michael Hastings, who had his Mercedes-Benz magically go 100 miles an hour and crash into a pole and blowing up before it blew up. That was the whitest burn I've ever seen. They couldn't explain it. He got close to this type of information, including the Vault 7, about how they can use all your TVs, cell phones, laptops, and anything to hack and listen into your conversations so they can, you know, record it and document it and use it against you in a big database somewhere. So that's, I mean, you go to prison because you just outed somebody who's doing criminality. You're not supposed to hack our stuff. Why is the CIA involved in the United States? I thought they were foreign. See, they're not. They're involved here. And don't give me that excuses for foreign adversaries that are calling to the American people. Come on now. So that's on the Twitter page. That's a big fat article I put on there. Next one is also on the Twitter page. It's CBD 101. That's cannabinoid, which your body has. And the CBD is non-addictive or hallucinogenic. THC is. But the CBD, of course, as you all know, comes from the hemp plant. And since our body has a lot of cannabinoid receptors, the CBD can help. So if you want to learn more about CBD and smoking it or the oil, you can go to my TI Club 3 page and check it out. The time now is 6:04. The next one is the TI Book Club status. That's hashtag TI Book Club on Twitter. So you go and type that and you'll come up with all of our books. And the status is we just bought a new book today and read it. It's Dr. Staninger's book, Global Brain Chips and Mesogens for Control of the Mind. And I read the entire book, 132 pages minus the appendix in the back, and looked at every single picture. And it is unbelievable, this nanotechnology we have, which I'm sure they're spraying out of the planes. These little pieces of mesogens, which is basically a crystal, iron crystals that are formed, and different polymers and graphene all together. And even they have the ability to make a computer with 50 atoms per component, a little microcomputer. Stick it in your body. So how long has this been going on? I would venture to guess since the Brain Initiative started, which was what Dr. Staninger said, but I think it's been going on a lot longer than that. We've had nanotechnology in tooth implants. I've had reports on a personal in-home report of someone with a tooth implant in the 70s that did some of the features of the current technology, making you feel like you're being watched, recording you, manipulating your emotions, your behavior. So the nano stuff is actually shocking. It's very shocking. The book is incredible. I do recommend buying it. It's $8.99 on Amazon. If you read the book, you can come into the call freestyle, which is what I do. You do freestyle book club. You read what book you want on my TI book club. I do a screenshot, and I have every book that's been read and reviewed, and people are reading them too. So you just pick what you want and go from there. Plus, Gerald Sosby has a book I'll be talking about next week, and it's a free PDF. Actually, it's in DocX form, and it's at the academia.edu site, and I'll present that so you have a freebie that you'll be able to download on some type of EPUB, or it's just a DocX. You can read it on board. You don't need EPUB. And his book is listed in Romola D's new podcast and report on her website about Gerald Sosby and the versus the FBI and what they've done to him. It's quite thrown out. But back to Dr. Staninger, the details in this book are incredible. This lady came to her. She's on her telephone at work, and all of a sudden, while she's on the phone, she got this extremely sharp, like a needle, pain in her ear. Okay? And she said that she saw the bushes move near her office around that time. So someone had gone in and probably put something on the telephone receiver of her phone on her desk. It got into her ear and through to her brain, caused a brain tumor that had to be removed. And it was analyzed, and it had exotic technologies, including one technology that was sourced back down to the United States with bridge technology research from Hong Kong and Japan. Okay? They can do that. They use spectrometers and different technologies and incredible microscopes and that she has herself to look at this stuff. She needed a diamond cutter to cut one of this specimen open. And you know, the human enamel can withstand up to 1800 degrees, but the enamel type material that she found was 300 degrees, and then they added heat to it. Is when it's melting point. So, like I said, it's different components put together, and they have a hook on them or a glue type of method that glues onto the side of your nose. Some specimens were found in noses from Saudi Arabia, New York, and from Los Angeles, apparently from a spraying for the brown moth in 2009. I guess they were spraying for more than the brown moth. Okay, so that's a definite must-buy. Dr. Staninger's Global Brain Chips and Mesogens. Okay, that's what we're all reading in the TI Book Club at the moment. And she has an email address and such. If you want to contact her, you can. If you want to talk to her and see if you can be tested for these technologies. Okay. Take a break for a moment. Let you settle. Let me get a sip. My name is DJ Chris, and I'm your host. And it's TargetedWest.com's Sunday conference on freeconferencecall.com. This one's interesting. I found a group. I found out this group. This group has been talking in my head for quite a while, and they keep coming up with the year 1987. Okay? And so I did a reverse lookup for 1987. I found out that the Natros. The Natro is the god of death. Eros is the god of sex. So it's basically a death and sex group. And they are the pack. They are the Illuminates. They're basically, they say, the original group of Illuminatis we currently have, or something. And they just got together in 78 and then officially formed in 1987. And they have a website. I think it's the Natros, or it's North American, the Natros. The Natros itself is actually a music group, which I don't think has anything to do with this. So there's two, the Natros, a music group, and then this a magic group, and they perform occult magic. Okay? And that's then Atteros, North America. They're called the Pact. They're Illuminates. They're into magic. So check that out as a lead. I've talked about that before, but it went over everyone's head like it's something to remind in my chat. Next is Michael Aquino and the Army, and he came out with a document in 1980 about psychops and mind war. And come to find out, when I did my research for the Church of Satan and the Temple of Satan, the Church of Satan has an offshoot called the Church of Set, which I heard about but didn't research much, and that Michael Aquino was very much involved in that. And Michael Aquino was in the Army. And Michael Aquino said that if you use a frequency of 20 hertz or lower, you can manipulate the human race. And of course, the discovery of the Medusa that I talked about, or the Bassoon project, that's a low frequency of 2 to 20 hertz. The body resonates. The Schumann resonance of the Earth resonates 7.83 hertz, or cycles, before they change it to hertz. So it matches up to Michael Aquino's Mind War document, which I have found, and I've got it on the TI Club 3 for you to read. So go to Twitter and TI Club 3 and read it yourself. The next subject matter, the person that I was going to talk with about this is here yet, so I'll talk about it now, and that's the Scientology cult. Oh my Lord Almighty, that I read and watched Leah Remini before, but I watched it again, and man, that is crazy. Someone who's a suppressive is someone that's against them, and they're always looking for suppressive by interrogating each other. They even have a device, I saw in one video, where your body gives out different waves, and of course they think that's a lie detector test, and they're always interrogating you to see if you're going to be suppressive. And then come to find out, L. Ron Hubbard was an idiot, and most of the stuff he brags about is not true, and he's just a salesman that's selling snake oil. And they like I said, they made Leah Remini, when she was at the top of her game in Hollywood, go stay in a house that's basically a prison. And you get bread and water and no contact, no phone, no nothing, and you are punished and you're isolated in the Church of Scientology just for asking where the wife of the president of Scientology was. They're paranoid. They're evil, and if you're in Scientology and you spend $250,000 and you think it's a good thing, then more power to you. But do not associate with Scientologists. Yeah, I know, it was crazy. Everybody thought it was New Age, but it's not New Age, it's Old Age. Research that's done. Next subject matter at 6:15, 6:15 p.m. is, before we go to open mic, of course, is MISO, M-I-S-O, and that is Military Information Special Operations, and that basically is used during peacetime, and it's COCOM, which is combatant communication or something, where they keep track of the combatants. I assume we're combatants now, enemy combatants, whatever the name du jour of the day is. By the way, I'm not a white supremacist, and I'm not right wing, left wing, middle wing, or no wing, and I don't have any plans to do anything except sit here in my RV and try to figure out why I have this telepathy, okay? NISO. So that's part of SOCOM, and that is the way they give dis, and malinformation to the enemy to trick them. Basically, the art of war. Okay, now we do the pull the paper off thing. Hope you're doing well. This is DJ Chris again. That's next week's show. It's already written out. I leave spaces if you have a suggestion. I leave spaces for you guys. I'm going to flip this over to open mic. Okay, we're going to open mic. Go ahead and if you want to ask Chris or G any questions, feel free to. Here you go. Everybody's muted. If you want to talk, hit *6. Thank you. Here you go. Okay, it's open mic. If you want to talk, be my guest. I was just going to tell you that my new Synthetic Dreams book is out tomorrow on Amazon. Go to Amazon under Kindle and type in My Synthetic Dreams. The author is TargetedWest. That's me. 99 cents, and it's just about my dreams and others and the technology I believe they're using. And then caller 00 requested I talk about the Galaxy Federation, which started in the 50s, and I put a big fat article on the Galaxy Federation, and actually I put their website, and they say they're here among us, and they've been here for millions of years. Okay. And I know Derek has been talking about that. I, of course, like to focus on stuff on the Earth, and not hold on one to three, and basically not think about other entities in the world quite yet, because we're not quite ready for that. In prime time isn't ready for us to talk about voices in our head quite yet, so we push it towards that section, which I believe it is possible they could be involved. So then you would want to talk about that. And another, did anybody want to talk? Open mic. I'm going to take a little break here, and then we'll go to the next subject. Do you have to do your Dobby? Mm-hmm. Did it finally come out? Yeah.
Hi, DJ Chris.
Hey, Joe. Thank you. Wow, you never get on mic. How are you?
Hi. Good, thank you. Nice to meet you for the first time in voice.
Yeah, you have a great voice too. How are you?
Good, thank you.
You're coming all the way from Australia, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're listening to this live, she's all the way over there coming in to talk to us on the call. So really happy you're here.
It's 11:22 tomorrow, so it's Monday here. 11:22 a.m. and I'm sitting down at the lake. Yeah, just.
Oh, very nice. You get to listen to us at the lake. That's nice. I had a few friends in Australia before in my other call, and I lost track of them.
Were they targeted?
No, it was a HIV site, and this person's son was a hemophiliac, so I was a moderator, and I would provide information.
Oh, that's so interesting. I did know a hemophiliac.
Yeah, and her son got a transfusion and was infected with HIV, so I would help her, and his name was Jack. And they lived in the beach area. They were pretty fancy people. Peter was the husband. I gotta find them again.
Yeah, the hemophiliac I knew was when I was quite young, like 17, and he since passed, unfortunately. But he made a lot good out of his life. He created a band, and they were so fun. Yeah, they used to busk and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my memory.
This one's name was Batters, like Batters, Batters. So Batters passed, but like a long time ago.
I can hear a bird. I can hear a bird.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? I think the HIV is a targeting method. So yes, she was targeted. They were targeted by HIV, and I think it's man-made, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, anything's possible. It's all coming up, not just that, but listening to lots of interviews lately, and we were listening to this US military one guy who was surprised that 911 happened at all, that the planes shouldn't have gotten that close to.
It was a weird bunch of events and neglect, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but everybody stood down and let it happen.
Yeah. It was such a shock, wasn't it? It was like the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, and right afterwards is when I started getting targeted, because I watched the towers fall so much that I got a relapse, and then my neighbor, the DA, district attorney, decided he was going to sick the sheriff on me. And, then before I know it, I have a helicopter above my roof, and a week later they're talking in my head. So that caused, I think I got PTSD from that.
Yeah, I got my first BTK, but I didn't know what it was in about 2002, so it's not far after that. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was intuition. I thought it was me. I thought, as when we first start off, we don't know what the hell. But now looking back, I'm sure it was BTK.
Yeah, mine is a group of, I call them organized crime, and I believe the organized crime is affiliated with the sheriff.
Say that again. The organized crime is what?
I think organized crime is what's behind my targeting, and I believe that some people that used to be in the sheriff and other law enforcement and such have this organized crime group of people that do the B2K to us. That's part of my belief. Plus, it's people that got in trouble with the law that have to do this to get sentences reduced, and snitches, and people that like to torture people remotely, and others. So it's a dark job. Who wants to take a dark job like that? That's what I always tell them. You take a dark job. Yeah,
well, I guess anything for money, right? When I
yes.
Put on the program, I think the person that puts you on the program, and I think I got put on it twice by two different people, they get a big windfall. Yeah. So once I got put on it in 2002, and then again amped it up in 2008. Yeah. So it was bad, between 2002 and 2008, but it got really, really full on after 2008.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I had three, 1980, 86, and 2002. Three different people or organizations came after me.
Mm.
The first was 1980 when I first came out. The second was after I worked at a bank and quit, or no, got fired, and I kept some files to piss them off. And I guess they didn't like that, so they made me buy things. They made me buy a Rolex, a brand new Thunderbird, a cell phone, and this was in '86. I had a cell phone in my car, and I was unemployed. It was the weirdest. They just had me hypnotized to ruin my credit, which is a bankster's thing.
Yeah, I have this weird stuff that goes back to 1996 as well, where I was sort of had V2K that told me where to go, what shops to go to. Yeah, so I don't think I was targeted then. I mean, it wasn't overt. I didn't, but I remember kind of being guided around the shops. And I found all sorts of cool things. Yeah, I found like a really cool coffee shop and stuff like that. I was in a town in the northeast of England, living there for a year. And I think that was B2K as well. So yeah, that goes back to 1996. But that wasn't, to me, sort of targeting, but it wasn't like I was targeted kind of thing. Like I still slept.
You were influenced. Yeah, they influenced me before they targeted me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shopping and the buying things is the part of the art of war to make your opponent poor, so he doesn't have horses and military people and tanks. He'll have basically a cart to push and no money. So that's how they win the war, is by making you broke.
Oh yeah, they definitely did that to me. Now.
Me too. Yeah, bad. Yeah, I did it. Okay, well, next subject is something B brought up, and I don't know, B, are you here? I don't know if B's here. If anybody knows if B's here, I can't go on the screen. Anyway, I think it was B, or somebody brought up Amy's audio site, and Amy's audio site, which I don't have the URL with me, but Amy's audio, everybody knows the site. I'm sure you can probably Google it. She's got anti-spy apps on one of her pages that you can use on your cell phones, including EMF detectors and different things to protect you. There was like 15 different apps on her site. So that's at Amy's Audio. And I think some of it's computer software for a laptop, but most of it's anti-spy apps for the cell phone. And most people that look at my website are on cell phones, and hardly anybody has laptops anymore. So, Amy's Audio, spy apps, they're anti-spy apps. Take a break. So, Joe, you're lounging at the lake. That sounds so lovely.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I just came down to the lake for a break from the house.
Well, if you have a chance and there's a lawn or nice something to put your feet on barefoot, ground for an hour and you'll feel real good.
Well done, yeah. I'm pretty grounded. I do walk around in bare feet all the time.
Oh, you do? Oh, you're so smart. Yeah, that's why you feel good. It's very important that you have bare feet.
Yeah, our house is more or less like a cottage. I mean, it's it's a decent-sized house, but it's more or less a cottage, and I sleep on a futon on a wooden base, so pretty earth. I'm pretty earthy.
Me too. I'm an original tree hugger. Some people don't like tree huggers in the United States, but I'm a tree hugger. I even talked to my tree hugger. I could put water on him, and he covers me from the sun so I can ground out here in the lawn. Pretty cool. See if the sun shining. Oh, see it again. The sun shifted. My earlier videos, the sun shifted. So, oh, and by the way, last week's video I think was shaky. The mouth and the audio wasn't perfect, so I apologize if you watched that. That was not under my control. I don't believe I caused that, but it was a little weird. I still watched it, but my mouth was off. So hopefully it'll be fixed. They probably had a glitch at the conference call. No big deal.
No big deal. It's okay.
Yeah. Have you ever tried meditation, Joe? I have a section on meditating, but I think we got a caller, 614. Would you like to come in?
Yeah, I'll come in.
Oh, we're nobody in the 614. Oh, okay. But well, anyway, so Roy Masters is the expert. He's not around anymore. But Roy Masters is the master of meditation. And I put the 7-minute quickie meditation on TI Club 3 Twitter. You can meditate while you ground. And Caller did Roy Masters in the 80s. Perps didn't like that it worked. So Caller 00 said he did the Roy Masters meditation and the perps didn't like it. So go at it. You know you need to get off the computer and those devices and that television. You know you need to get out of the house. And it's summertime, so do it while you can. Go outside and meditate. Or you can meditate inside if you want. Turn all the sound off, put some soothing music on. And meditation music on YouTube or what have you. Put on your favorite music if you want to meditate. I'm learning how. It's hard for me to meditate because I'm so wound up all the time. But I'm trying, and I think I might be able to get there. But we'll see. So Roy Masters on YouTube is all over YouTube. I highly suggest you watch some of his classic videos. And that was recommended to me by Caller 00. Anybody want to talk? Open mic. Okay, next subject matter is a technology called Gotenna. That's Gotenna, and it is a mesh network system. It is a little USB you plug in to your devices or your cell or what have you, and you can communicate with your friends camping or what have you locally and send messages back and forth, including maps and such. And if you had a situation where you had a big crowd and the cell towers were being sucked up, and you want to talk to your friends or workers at a big festival or something, you can use the mesh network. So we have listed that on TI Club 3, the company, and I believe it's gotenna.com, and you can check it out. They are not in stock. They're so popular because of the shit hitting the fan trend and the preppers trend that they're sold out. So if they're sold out, that must mean it's a good thing. So, or it means they're manipulating it and making it look like they are, but whatever. Well, check it out, Gotenna. That's a mesh off-grid network that you can use to communicate, send text messages, maps, communicate different ways. I think you can talk local. I'm not sure. Have a new term when you're ready. I was reading about the artificial intelligence, and I learned a new acronym that I didn't quite understand before, and it was ML, and that's machine learning. So basically, the AI is doing machine learning with us and learning about us, which is always asking me questions about things that are simple. So I guess they're doing machine learning to us, but it's ML. So see, that's machine learning. That's what AI does, learning from whatever source and getting better and improving on the process that it's doing at the moment, which could be business or military uses or intel uses. Okay, open mic. I'm going to put the mic on mute and chill out here for a moment and see if you guys want to talk. They're a good crowd. Really good crowd.
Hello, Chris. This is Guy out in Arizona. How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. I just did the Scientology thing earlier, but I'll give you a recap of it.
Yeah. I was in that Scientology about 30 or 40 years ago.
Right.
I know a little bit about it, but what did you?
Yeah, I just talked about how Ron Hubbard was a fake, and most of the stuff that he talked about wasn't real. And Lee Remini went on more and more about suppressives, and she was joking with Jack, the guy that was from the UK that also quit, and they have a podcast which you need to check out, and they are currently talking about it as we speak. So she's still going, Guy. Did you have
I've seen her on Twitter. She's got an account on Twitter, and she's got a lot of bad things to say. I don't know. I went out in one piece. I don't know if I was ever declared suppressive or not, but they keep sending. Once you join that church, even not a staff member, but just someone takes some courses, they constantly send you mail. I mean, for the next 100 years, they'll send you mail. I mean, I told them I'm no longer interested in everything, but they still send all that mail to you. But yeah, I agree. It's another way of, I don't know how to say it. I mean, they had a good couple of...
It's behavior control and making money.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to put it, behavior control.
And they're so scared of getting found out that I said earlier that they're doing interrogations on each other.
Yeah, that's kind of what they do.
All sorts of technologies, which is, Leo Ramini said, all the technology is worthless, but the Scientologists will say, believe in the technology, it always tells the truth. We're going to find the truth and all this stuff, and they're always interrogating each other.
Yeah, that's what they do over there. It's strange. It's I don't know how I got caught up in it 30, 40 years ago. I just got out of the military and I was drugged by psychiatric drugs, and I guess I needed something to help pull me through at the time. That was like 40 years ago. But I was. I did think they had a few useful courses in word clearing and what they call TRs, where you pay attention in your line of communication. They had a couple of good courses which are not taught in the school system, but like you say, the rest of it, it is a lot about control, like you say. I guess you're supposed to wear like yellow armbands or red armbands is to show that you've been good or bad, and I don't know what sort of, like I say, they play a lot of mind games there, and it just, the more I think about it,
I learned that they exploit the youth. The young people that join the church have to work for them for free, and they get barely enough food to eat, and they're starving, and they have to work for the church forever and ever as an intern.
Oh yeah. If they call a staff member, if you ever join that staff, they get low pay, long hours, and treated bad from what I've heard.
Yes, and Leah Ramini and her associates went out to one of the Scientology centers, the one in LA, and it's got license plate readers, cameras everywhere. They're literally want to know who's driving past them. That's how much control freaks they are.
Oh yeah. I mean, 40 years ago it might not have been as bad, but I'm sure it's that what are they really selling is just like psychology. You take a few courses and they email
pseudo-psychology and pseudo-technology. Yes, you got it. So that's what I came up with.
Yeah, yeah, I'd have to agree with you. That's just, from what I remember of the place. I mean, like I said, there were a couple courses I thought might have helped as far as word clearing and looking up words and did you understand that word and use it in a sentence, which is something that's never taught in high school. Somehow they don't really clear words and make you thoroughly understand things, which was a good. I could understand that's a good thing to do, but like you say, the bit about conforming and they call it bull baiting. You're supposed to sit there and let someone act real weird or taunt at you and just see if you flinch. And they got all these stupid games, mind games they play, And I don't know. It just looking back, I don't know. This was got me thinking that I just don't know if there's any connection to this remote neural monitoring or not, But I haven't been able to prove any connection. I have heard of people blaming the VA psychiatry on this. That there's someone.
I'm sure they all have their own versions of it. You can buy it, and license it and use it. Many organizations and criminals and government use some sort of this V2K, from what I've gathered.
Yeah, I started experiencing it right after I got out of the military. And so that's where I'm tracing it down to. But the more I'm finding, I was starting to blame the military and maybe the Postal Service. I thought maybe it's coming from those two government agencies. But the more people I've talked to, they have no connection to government or Postal Service. So it could be just InfraGard, and maybe I was said something to the wrong person somewhere, and someone turned me in. And
yeah, you got it. It's usually someone you'd least suspect.
Yeah, it could have been one in Scientology. They seem to know all the little tricks, and if you turn someone in for whatever, then they know the FBI will start looking into that person. That could have been, it could have been something like that. I just, these stalkers never do inform the victims as to, it's all a hidden cord, I guess FISA cord, and, is the volume off, Chris, or what's going on there? I guess maybe
I put my finger up when you're talking like that on the radio. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I think the volume's a little low on your end. I don't know if I can adjust anything.
I'm fine. I got it set up just right.
All right. Well, yeah, I just wanted to elaborate my experiences with Scientology, and I tend to blame more the VA, but psychiatry, I've heard other people ended up hearing voices after seeing VA psychiatry. So I don't know. I just haven't heard too many people saying, well, I took a course in Scientology, and the next thing I know, I'm hearing voices. I haven't heard too much on that. So I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what the criteria is to be on the list of hearing voices. I mean, some people say we're on a terrorist watch list. I really don't know if that's the case, or I've never been a terrorist.
We're on a list for extrajudicial, non-stop investigations that go on so they can build a government.
Yeah, I guess that's what the purpose of this. I mean, from my understanding of things I've read from Targeted Justice and all, it boils down to InfraGard and private contractors doing this, and somehow someone turns people into the FBI and you get targeted. This is how I see it. Now, I could be missing a few points, but that's generally speaking how I see it.
Yeah.
So,
and you'll never know because that's how they work, is in secrecy. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's a very good point. They never tell the people what they've did wrong, and God knows I've made some mistakes,
Like a Kafka book, you read the Kafka stories of he's a writer that writes these crazy fiction stories about authorities that never tell you your charges or anything. You sit there for years. Yeah, it's Frank Kafka. That's what it is. Total crazy thing.
Yeah, it does seem very, very strange that they never tell people what it is, but I think a lot of it goes back to psychiatry and behavior modification, and that's how I blame it, even though the Scientology stuff kind of gets into that a little bit themselves, but I just don't see them as the ones behind it because they're not, not that I know of anyway, unless it's a hidden thing. I just haven't heard too many people saying, like I said earlier, they took a course and ended up hearing voices. It just, and I don't,
We'll keep our ears open, Guy, and one day someone will be on one of these calls and mention that, and you can talk to them.
Yeah. Well, I did hear on Frank's recording there what they're going to have this meeting in Detroit and all, and there's some gal out there claiming there's some sort of sonar way of scanning for implants. And, I was scanned by Roger Tulsa's years ago, maybe 12 years ago, and he couldn't find any implants with his stuff, but maybe they have a new type of sonar scanner.
I just finished Dr. Staninger's book today, and I reviewed it earlier, and she can do that. She can help you figure out what you got in your body. And she's in LA area.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Then on the internet.
I've also heard someone saying she wants such a title to their house or something because they couldn't afford it. So, I just don't know. I mean, I'd rather hear voices than be starving on the street, if you know what, I mean, I can understand someone trying to help a survivor of this, but, just outrageous fees and all, I can't go on. So I don't really know what the whole truth is there. But, that's how I'd heard.
No, I don't need to pay anybody to know what I got going on here either. I'm good.
All right. Well, I mean, I hope Staninger is, she seemed like a legitimate person, microbiologist and all. I read some articles, someone said she had wanted a title to their condo or something, so that kind of threw me off.
You never know. I just read her book. I don't know anything about the person. So we're going to go to the next topic, Guy, if that's okay.
Okay.
Is how they read your subvocalization. I know I use my subvocalization a lot. And apparently they have technology to read it. And I put an article on Twitter about how they use electrodes on your throat to read them. So by now they've got remote subvocalization readings. So do you think that's how they can read?
Well, I know in the
what do you think?
Well, I know in the Scientology thing, you hold the tin cans, and then they'll ask you. Their e-meter will have a reading on it, and then the auditor will ask you that. What are you thinking? But the way they're doing it now with these beams aimed at people, they'll tell us what you're thinking. They'll actually say, "Oh, you're thinking about sex. What brings you to that point?" They know by reading the impulses in our hands, in our throat, most of our bodies. So I would say that, they probably are reading our throat impulses and hand impulses as well. For, just the thought process. I'm not a genius on how this works.
People when they read subvocalize, and then when you're talking in your head, you subvocalize. So I'm assuming that's one way. I read that and I've heard that.
Yeah, I've read about that too, that, reading people's thoughts through subvocals. Yeah, I'm sure there's, I thought it could be just the beam aimed right at the back of the head going through the eyes and, they're reading the thoughts that way. But, and the blue light I see every now and then, there's a word for it. It's not a direct light. There's a word for a light that you see. It's a sporadic, like every fraction of a second, and it's a specific word for that kind of light aimed at people. And I forgot the exact word of it, but that's what I believe is going on, since I have seen that blue light. Maybe it's like
I use Ray-Bans with the yellow tint to block that. And there's a lot of blue light in computer screens. Bad for vision. Very bad for vision. And someone told me in the chat that they use those blue beams to beam in the synthetic dreams that you see at night. So that's what I've heard.
Well, I don't know on the dream. I know if I am dreaming something before I go to sleep, they'll be right there and say, "Hey, you're thinking about sex again. That's not the best." Or, "Hey, you're thinking about boats." They're reading the thoughts before you go to sleep. They're that good, that they can tell you exactly what you're thinking. And they'll interrupt your dreams sometimes. You're having a good dream, and that's when I get up in the morning. Before I get up, an hour before I get up, like 4:30 in the morning, I'll hear them talking. Hey, guy, how you doing? You know, I don't want to, you know, if they want such control of my life, whatever I do or say, you know, I think this is so much about control and behavior. And, you know, really, I'm an old guy and my behavior is so modified, you know, you know, I mean, when I was younger, I do admit, you know, all you teenagers do make mistakes, but, you know, there's no need for any behavior modification as people mature that I know of, you know, that's why I say this seems to be centered around behavior modification, but there's no behavior bad that I'm doing.
Political control and behavior modification. You are correct.
Yeah. I just don't know where the off button is. You know, like I mean, they've legalized pot and you know, prostitution. They haven't legalized that. Unless you live in Nevada. But I mean, I don't know how to say it, but these people, Infogard, they want to put so much pressure on people, and you know, if you do something they don't like, you'll definitely hear about it or get attacked over it. You know, it's just I don't know how else to say it, but that's what they do. And even if you don't do something they don't like, you still get attacked. So I don't know. Maybe their whole focus is on attacking the survivors of this into a point of state of rage, and that's what I've said many a time. And I believe a lot of the mass murders and suicides are caused by this, but it's an unannounced reason. You know, the mass media will blame the gun. Oh, it's the gun. He shot 10 people, but they'll never research it back far enough to say, oh, he was a victim of verbal abuse by a stalker. The Infogard, you know, it just never researches to that point. It always goes, oh, he did a drug and he shot because he was on a gun, had a gun. That's as far as they go. You know, and I don't condone any of that and think that's the way to go with people who are stalked. But, you know, that's what I believe can be instigating a lot of these shootings.
That's a lack of mental health for young men, is what most of it is. They don't give you insurance for it. Most of the time you have to pay out of pocket. And then there's only 150,000 psychiatrists in the United States, and 32,000 of them are psych nurses. I mean, when you have 330 million people and 25% of them are under some psychiatric emergency or having a recurring situation, you're in trouble. That's why they throw pills at everyone, because they can't handle all the people, because there's not enough psych people in this country. And that's in Psychology Today. I posted the article on Twitter. Unbelievable, isn't it? That's why we have a problem. And
my view on psychiatry is that the drugs do more harm than good. I mean, I was on this stuff 30 years ago, and I'd walk around with my tongue out, lethargic, and I just got no good from it. If you want to have a functioning life, you know, I would recommend having some moringa and turmeric and things like that, and healthy things that might help you snap out of things. But, you know, these drugs that they give people, I mean, I had one gal in my car a couple of weeks ago, and she says, all I do is sleep. I'm going to commit suicide. I just sleep, and I can't stand it everywhere. Very nice young lady. And I said, you know, naturally, I talked with her and everything. I said, no, you don't want to do that. You're a very beautiful gal, and blah, 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 which is very true. But some of the people just get so depressed, and so they can't really focus right, and, you know, see past the forest, that, you know, if they just snapped out of it a little bit, they'd be fine. You know, I mean, I don't know. I may have a different view than you.
Doctors over-medicate, and people feel
right.
The doctors always over-medicate, as they did with me, and people for some reason feel compelled to have to take it.
Yeah, it's very tough, you know, having a normal life and family and everything else when you're drugged half the time and you don't know if you know, I mean, unfortunately, Chris, I may have a little different view than you. I mean, like you say, you're over-medicated, but the pot and the pills, I just don't think are a good way to go. But that's my viewpoint, you know. you may...
Well, and Guy, I have full-blown AIDS, and I was supposed to die, and I don't take a lot of pills. I said I felt medicated before, so, but, you know...
well, in your situation, I can kind of understand that.
And taking my pills, then I won't be putting the show on anymore, because I need the pot to deal with certain people in the community, to be honest with you, and I need the pills to sleep, or... You know, people, I get targeted perps that come after me all the time. You know how many people come after me? I'm the black sheep of the community.
Yeah, I don't know. It's too bad that I mean, we're always should be working
towards the same. I quit the pills. What else should I quit too? And it never will end. What else should I quit? What else should I quit?
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because I've got to drive for a living, and you know, I've got to work for a living, and you know, you're pretty much on disability, so you're on a different boat.
I am retired. I'm 62 years old, and I'm retired. Why are you breaking me down?
Well, I'm just saying,
you're man. I worked my entire life, and I still work. I take care of a mother-in-law. Why am I not working? You're breaking me down hard, man.
Well, I'm just kind of telling you the way I see things. You know, like people that are driving for a living, and then I thought you were on disability, but you're on Social Security. You know, like I say, you're not really well. You have a conference. You know what I mean. You're not really in the workforce, in the factory. You know, rubbing elbows with the next coworker and that kind of environment. You know, you've got a good deal going here with the show and things like that, but it's not really a factory where you're rubbing elbows like the Postal Service and that kind of thing. You know, you're in a different environment. So I don't know. That's just my viewpoint. That's why I don't think...
No wonder I sound like shit. I had the wrong mic on. Thank you, Seth. I was on the wrong mic. There we go. I had the wrong microphone on.
Yeah, you're sounding a lot clearer now, Chris. Yeah.
It was the weed. It's definitely the weed, Guy. I got to quit smoking the weed, quit taking my AIDS pills, quit taking my psych meds.
If you got AIDS, you got to take that medicine. There's an injection.
I'm on disability. No big deal.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, that's something that you got to do when you have such a disease. That I know I have relatives that have diseases, and they're doing all they can do to control it. And you know, I mean, some people can work, some people can't. Let's just put it that way.
Why do you think I'm not working? Writing 2 books, doing a conference? You think I just do a conference? I just finished.
No, I mean, you're doing a world of good, Chris. We appreciate your work trying to end this stocking.
But I need to quit smoking the weed and taking my meds.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is my viewpoint. You know, like I say, we have a different outlook on that, and you know, just because what I've been through in my life, I have maybe experienced different things. You know, with my ex-wife and others, and you know, you've got to deal with who you got to be very careful. You know, not to be around too much violent. You know, I'm just a little more alert is the best way to put it. Off medication, off marijuana. You know, I'm a little more alert is basically the way to put it.
Why do I need to be alert? I haven't left my camper in 3 years. What do I need to be alert for, guys? Tell me what I need to be alert for.
Well, that pretty much says it right there. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I leave my trailer every day, so that says it all, Chris. You know.
Do you know I've had COVID? Do you know I have COVID 5 times, and I have long COVID right now, and I'm sick? So what should I do, Guy? Tell me what to do.
Well, if you've got COVID, then you got to do what the medical community tells you. You know, just relax and take pain pills until it goes away.
Why would I take a pain pill for COVID?
Oh, I've had people that have had it in my car, and that's what they tell me they do with them. They give them some pain medicine, and they put them in a separate motel and let them wait it out until it gets better. That's how they've been treating it out here in Arizona.
Yep. I'm just having a cookie. Well, my volume wasn't very good, but that's okay. This video will still come out good. I wasn't aware that I didn't get a mic check. Or wasn't paying attention to it, but that's okay. But anyway, Guy, this is on BitChute, YouTube, and archive.org for everyone to hear your side of the story. So maybe I'll get some comments and.
Yeah, I may have
anyway,
a
good night
different viewpoint,
on
but that's
behalf
fine.
of YouTube and BitChute and archive.org. Thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate it. We'll be back next week for more information. I'm going to turn the recording off now, and I'll see you next week on the bitchute.com. Thank you.